Hello gamers, I hope you're doing well. In today's video, we'll talk about the Season 3 Mission 4 of the Partner Creator Program, the strategies for the Battlefield of Trials and Battlefield of Chaos. But before we start, if you haven't supported anyone yet on the Partner Creator Program, please consider supporting me. I'll leave the link on the description and the comments. There will be no charges for supporting me, so please support me if you haven't supported anyone already. The perks I'll get for your support is whenever you purchase something on the shop, Netmarble will give me a small percentage for the purchase. And the perks you'll get when supporting me is I can send away creator codes right into your accounts. Just like this one. Alright, that's all for that part. Let's proceed to our main topic. Starting off with the Battlefield of Trials, every season reset there's a new gimmick or dungeon rules for the Battlefield of Trials. We can check it on the latest update, contents improvements, and changes. For Jinwoo, the applied rule is Contract with Darkness, which increases attack by 35% when all equipped weapons are dark weapons. And Dark Mana Power, which increases dark damage by 50% when MP or your mana is above 70%. With these rules, it will be very beneficial to take advantage of the buffs, so what I suggest is you bring 2 dark weapons and most importantly bring either the Plum Sword or Moonshadow as your first weapon. Then the second slot can either be your Shadow Sight, Zeke's Fragment if you pulled for it, or any other SR dark weapons you have leveled up. The reason you'll need either the Plum Sword or Moonshadow is because of their added passives that will improve your damage potential. For the Plum Sword, it has the Plum Flower passive that increases your critical hit damage by 12% that stacks 3 times. And Full Bloom that increases attack and critical hit chance by 4%. And for the Moonshadow, it has the Lunar Eclipse passive that increases damage to enemies and increases dark damage by 10%. These are all at A0, so if you have them at higher advancements, they will perform with higher damage of course. And as I've mentioned on the second weapon slot, pick whatever dark weapon you prefer. So for the second rule that you need to stay above 70% mana, you'll either need to adjust your artifact builds to have more substats for MP and MP reduction, which is kinda difficult and a hassle way, or you just bring Hansemi and make sure you place her support skill wherever you feel you'll stay longer on that area. Also take note to always use Jinwoo's basic skill as it will also increase his MP even no monsters were hit. Okay, that's all you need to know to tackle the Battlefield of Trials for Jinwoo. Now for the hunters, here are the applied rules. Ray of Light, which increases HP for healer hunters by 100%. Refreshing Mana Power, which increases their wind damage by 30% when MP is above 60%. Meteorite, then MP consumption where the monsters will continuously use an MP reduction skill against nearby players. So that's the caveat. The higher you maintain your MPS, the greater your hunter damage will be. But the monsters will have a skill that reduces your MP. This is tricky but playable. My suggestion for this trial is very obvious. A full win team or Hansemi, Mirei, and any other support or breaker of your choice. You'll need Hansemi to fuel Mirei's MP in case it gets low. For those who don't know, Hansemi's second skill gives a flat 250 MP to her wind teammates, so in case Mirei needs an emergency MP, Hansemi is there. For Mirei, the 30% wind damage increase while above 60% is a really great addition to her damage potential. Let's say you also have the outstanding ability which increases 25% damage when above 40% MP, plus her passive that increases her attack up to 40% when above 66% MP. With that setup, your Mirei will hit like a truck. If you haven't built Mirei with outstanding ability, that's perfectly fine too. Expert or champion on the field is great. Then for your last hunter, just pick whichever you want. If the boss have a gauge, bring Jinchul, Dongsu, So, or Gogan-hee. Then if the boss doesn't have a break, you can bring any other support that could help Mirei achieve more damage like Meilin for the additional attack increase plus damage decrease, Min for additional crit stats. And my personal preference is Jo-hee at A3 to A5. Because when she's at A3, and she uses her skill 2, everyone on the team will recover 400 MP, and at A5, she can recover a total of 800 MP for the team. Alright, that's all you need to know for the Battlefield of Trials for the Hunters. And as a bonus, I'll showcase how I clear floor 10 for Jinwoo and the Hunters. This is usually the wall where we are stuck due to the time limit and the debuff application for this floor. And also a quick note, make sure to check the missions so you could get more rewards like gold and essence stones. You don't need to finish all missions in one run. You can clear it as many times and obtain rewards one by one. Going back to floor 10, this one is not hard per se, but the time limit is very short and the frequent freeze will make you scratch your head. Here's my setup for clearing this floor, and it was cleared due to how I chain my buffs so I could deal more damage as much as I can and destroy the tower before the time limit. I have Suyeon for the additional defense penetration and damage increase, Alicia for cleanse, basically when I get frozen I can tap her support skill to remove the freeze debuff, and Libora is for the increased damage taken and 1 star for the mission. Take note, you'll need to execute this as fast as you can because of the time limit. Once you've spawned, sprint directly to the first gem and drop your shadows. Proceed breaking into the right part and let your shadows take care the one on the left. Once all jumps are done, proceed to the center and make sure not to spam your skills yet. You'll be freeze after a few seconds and your skill execution will be interrupted. Wait until you're frozen and use Alicia's skill to cleanse. Then spam all your support buffs and skills to maximize your damage before you get frozen again. By making Alicia's skill on standby on the first freeze, you should be able to use it again the second time like on the last 10-second window, so make sure to time it. And just like that, 1 second left. Floor 10 is cleared. Despite my lack of damage and relatively low power, I managed to succeed by carefully timing my buffs and using Alicia's skill just at the right moment. If you're having trouble with this floor, I hope this strategy helps. Feel free to use this as a reference and adjust it to your own playstyle. Then for the Hunter's part, it's pretty much the same for Jinwoo aside of course. You'll be using the Hunters. I also believe the floor 10 here is much easier compared to Jinwoo since you can use Libora's foxes and deal damage off-field. Then Mirei can do the rest as she is immune to crowd control while being in possessed state. This is after she uses her ultimate. So here's my floor 10 run with the Hunters. Okay, moving on to the last part, tricks and tips for the Battlefield of Chaos. In here, the dungeons open by schedule. Each dungeon drops different type of stats, so choose which dungeon you'd like to take more if you're aiming for certain stats. Red offers attack and attack percent, blue offers HP and HP percent, yellow offers precision, critical hit damage, and defense penetration, green offers additional defense, defense percent, and damage reduction, while purple offers speed, mana, and reduced mana consumption. My suggestion is whenever red or yellow is available, go for it. It's the stats that would make you deal more damage in general. But also don't forget to do at least some runs on the other dungeons, as you'll need everything to fill each slots on the gem page to fully unlock everything. After this playthrough, I have additional tips for the gems. If you'd like to skip through, feel free to check the timestamps to move forward. This run is from the green dungeon rank 8. Rank 9 is doable as I'm not in the red zone, but I don't want to try hard, so let's do it here. Alright, that's the quick run for Green Dungeon rank 8. And here's the additional tip for the gems. Let's go to the gems page. Here we'll see all the gems placed on the system. Each gem stat will add up to Sung Jinwoo and the hunter's total power, so it's crucial to pick the right stats. Here's my recommendation for the stats you need to pick. For red, 4 to 5 pieces of attack percent stats, then the rest is flat attack. Reason being your attack percent will scale more if you have flat attack. Definitely ignore the healing given increase stat. For blue, 4 to 5 pieces of HP stats as well, then the rest is flat HP. For yellow, 4 to 5 pieces of crit stats, then the rest is defense penetration. Ignore precision as you can get that on your weapon advancements. For green, 4 to 5 pieces of defense percent stats, then the rest is flat defense. Ignore damage reduction, you won't need it if you can dodge attacks. Lastly, for purple, if you main Mirai, go 4 to 5 piece of additional mana, then the rest is MP consumption. This will help her with her mana issues. But if you want to cater this to Sung Jinwoo, then go for 4 to 5 pieces of speed gem, then the rest is additional mana. That's all the stats you need to optimize this board. The only grind left is to fill this with rank 3 or 4 gems to have bigger stats. In order to do that, just play the Battlefield of Chaos daily, and you can fuse those lower rank gems into higher ones. Don't worry, this fuse has a guarantee, similar to the Blessing Stones and the skills. So in every 9 attempts and you don't get a higher rank, the 10th fuse will be 100% success. This will be a long road ahead, so take your time and you will get this maxed out soon. Alright, just a quick recap for everything. For the Battlefield of Trials, focus on utilizing the specific buffs for Sung Jinwoo and your hunters to deal more damage and clear more content. Timing your buffs and skill is key to clearing tough floors, especially when dealing with the tricky mechanics like freezing. In the Battlefield of Chaos, prioritize red and yellow dungeons for attack and crit stats, but remember to clear other dungeons as well, as you'll need those for balance. Lastly, don't forget to support me using my creator code davePlays2024 to get exclusive perks. That's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye for now, and as always, happy gaming.